I just knew after the Plymouth game, and I think Mark was, I think he was just starting to, you know, with being a first-time manager, it was like if we've got somebody experienced here, it's going to be far easier for them to steer this ship, because it is, whatever you say, it was going to be difficult for whoever took over, whoever's leading that season. And I think he thought having somebody of experience would make it easier. And listen, I get that. So going into that Plymouth game, I think I was finding it tough then. The pressure was on. I think the players were finding it tough. The game was close, but we lost. But after it, I remember, and Mark's interesting, and I've got to say, I really like Mark. I do, and what he wants to do with the club and what he's done for the club shouldn't be underestimated. But Mark was, being an ex-player, he was like emotional Mark on match day. So he had, I think he probably had his pre-match meal on a Saturday. He was ready for the game, Mark, on a Saturday. So after the game, he was like emotional, which I totally get. So I'd always spend like 45 minutes to an hour with him after the game, and he'd be, getting rid of a bit of frustration or saying, you got to do better at this, or you did that well, or whatever. But generally a lot of support, like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't criticism. There was a little bit of criticism in there, but mainly support, and a lot of frustration at the time, if I remember correctly. But on that Saturday, the Plymouth, he'd gone after the game, and that probably let me know where I was. And it was funny that I don't know why, but some of the staff were going into Liverpool for a night out, and my family at the time, my kids were young, and my missus had come up. And I said to her, I'm actually going to go out with the lads into Liverpool. And I never went into Liverpool, like, you know what I mean? Well, I did when I was younger, but not then anymore. I'd had enough of the nightclubs and bars. And so anyway, I ended up going out with Matt Gill, Greg, the physio, I think Timo. I think we had a masseur as well at the time who's been there for years. What would his name been?
John Stokes?
Yeah, Stokes. He came. So we ended
still
up
around.
Yeah. We ended up going into Liverpool, and like, those boys could party, and I remember having a good time. But I remember them saying to me, listen, it was brilliant what they said. I remember Greg saying, he said, listen, we want you to be manager. We enjoy working for you. Cheer up. I must have been miserable or something. So I had a good night. But I think I sort of knew that was probably it. So or probably they knew it better than I did. So maybe that's why they invited me out. But we went out into Liverpool and had a couple of beers and stuff, but then I think it was evident. And I remember going over on the Sunday to Gilead moved to West Kirby, and we went over there and had something to eat and had a really nice day with the families, and the sun was shining, and I think it was like October time, so it started. But I remember thinking, yeah, this could be it. This could be it. But Mark, like I say, Mark was always supportive, but just on that weekend, I think he probably decided that I need somebody to come in with experience who can probably help him as well. I remember he said one thing to me, and it was mad thinking, like, he remember said to me, and rightly so, like, it's a gamble, with a first-time manager. And I remember saying, well, you're a first-time chairman as well, though. So we're both learning on the job. So maybe that's why he got rid of me. But no, he was good to me, I must say.
There was a story at the time that he had tried to bring in Dave Jones to assist you. How much truth was there in that?
Yeah, totally true. We'd met Dave it was 2.5, 3 weeks before the Plymouth game, and Mark had wanted to bring him in. So I said, no problem, I'll go and meet him. And like, no disrespect to Dave, we had a good 2 hours with him. So I met him with Matt Gill, Alex Russell, and Timo, and we went and sat at a local hotel and spoke to him. And I don't know, his first question was to the staff, what's he doing wrong about myself, which I was fine with, because we were there to try and get some answers. And Matt Gill said, what do you mean? He said, well, what's he doing wrong? Is he coaching too much, not letting you coach? And they all said, no, actually, we coach a lot. He stands off and watches and stuff. So then Dave said, oh, did you not coach enough then? So I said, hang on, Dave, like, which one is it? You can't do me on both. It's like, but it was a good meeting. But I went back to Mark and said, listen, I understand that we are quite a young staff, and that's probably a mistake of mine, was that we didn't have any experience on the staff, or you know, somebody that had been within it a long time. Because I think if we had, they'd have probably been able to influence us to be a little bit calmer, to take a, you know, a more long-term approach and just chill out at times, because we were quite a young staff. And I think that's what Mark wanted to bring Dave in. But at the time, I was getting a lot of help and a lot of advice from some managers. You know, at the time I was speaking, like Sean Dyche, constantly speaking to Sean. Brendan Rodgers I spoke to. I was getting good advice about, you know, staying calm, long-term decisions, sticking to your, you know, philosophy. And I went back to Mark and said, listen, I really respect Dave. He's been an excellent manager, but I'm not sure what he's going to bring to the group, you know. And he'd asked us a couple of things of what we needed to do to change things around for the team, which we'd already tried. And I just didn't think. So I decided, and I asked the staff if they were all right with this. But my initial thoughts was, listen, you know, we're all right. I don't think Dave can really add much to the group. Now that might have been a mistake. I don't know, but that was my thought. And I just think that as a manager, especially a first-time manager, that if Dave had to come in, how it would have been perceived from outside was that Dave was really leading. Now, if Dave was going to lead, and Mark wanted to do that, he could have easily done that, couldn't he? He could have replaced me and put Dave in charge. But for Dave to come in and me be the manager just would have made it really difficult for everyone, I think. So I decided not to do that, whether that was right or wrong. But 3 weeks later, I lost my job anyway. But yeah, no, he came in and that was true. That was accurate.